Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never role-played before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukaki, your host. Butthole has been arrested for crimes committed in the name of Moonhammer, and his friends only have 3 days to prepare his legal defense. Alan's been searching the town for rumors, and Quinny and not Peter Baelish went to an expensive sex club where Quinny was forced to follow a stranger outside in his costume. What could possibly happen next? Find out on Dum-Dums and Dragons!
I think it would behoove us to follow him. If he's already going through that portal, I mean, this may mean you don't have time to grab your stuff.
Man. Well, I'm ready to go through the portal.
I can always come back and get it.
I'm gonna come back and get it.
Okay,
and I will introduce Starlight to my short sword.
So, Quinny, you go through the portal, not Peter Baelish. As you go to leave, the gnome kind of like tugs your sleeve and says, "Hey, listen, you planning something with him?"
Are you?
Well, as I've been saying, I've been trying
literally,
to.
Okay.
Yes, I literally have been trying to plan something, but I got to tell you, it's a hard guy to get anything out of. Listen, if you're planning on taking him out, it could be very lucrative for me.
Tell me more.
Well, how can I know I trust? Like, how can I know whether or not
You can trust me.
How do I know if I can trust you? Roll me a persuasion check.
Because I'm not.
We'll give you a +1 for being not Peter Baelish.
15.
15? Great.
Add your +1.
Plus 16 because I'm not Peter Baelish.
Rad. So he looks really concerned. He's not really sure whether to go for this, but then he also kind of realizes he's in a bind. And he says, all right, listen, you need to give me a day, but anything you can do after that would be greatly appreciated. And he slips you the piece of paper that was slipped to the guy. You get the sense that he swapped it when the man received it. So he gives you the real copy, nods to you, and then gets up to leave.
Thank you, I say in Gnomish. And I promise you, when you help not Peter Baelish will help you.
Okay, so who's going to help me? And you leave.
And I just wave as I go through the portal while knowingly stroking my goatee. Yeah.
So Starlight kind of nods to you on your way out and also like slides you her contact information, which in medieval times, I guess, is like, come back here tomorrow at 2. Because she doesn't have a phone or email.
Right, yeah. It's even before MySpace.
She kind of, she winks at you and off you go. So Quinny, you've gone through the portal. You're following the man. This is the most conspicuous you've ever been, and you do to roll me a stealth check with disadvantage.
All right, I'm going to use my inspiration then.
Sounds good. So just a
negated?
regular stealth check.
All right. 21.
So the man seems to be very much in his own thoughts. You can see him sort of playing with the ring on his finger. And miraculously, you're actually able to blend in to the crowds, just kind of weaving in between them. You know,
It's a weird neighborhood, man. That's all.
Yeah, it's late. People are kind of minding their own business. Get the sense that you may not be the weirdest thing that stumbled out of that inn tonight. Right. So that's all right. And you managed to track him to the Hall of Justice, where he kind of looks both ways and then heads up into the residences.
There's residences at the Hall of Justice?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay. I want to double back then and meet up with not Peter Baelish and maybe get my stuff.
Not Peter Baelish comes up behind you holding a bag of stuff that you're very happy to see.
Hi.
Oh, not Pete. You're a lifesaver.
Anytime.
Together, the two of you look up at the Hall of Justice.
Did you know they had residences?
I did not know they had residences.
I've been living. I should know that.
You should have read the brochure.
That's on me.
The first day of your investigations has come to an end. It's nighttime. You all decide to go and get rest. Butthole, you're obviously resting in jail.
Oh, yeah.
The man in the cloak has been kind of argumentative. You notice that he's kind of like weirdly slumped against a wall, but you figure you'll give him some time to cool down, so you fall into a fairly restful sleep. You can sleep pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, it sounds like me.
Quinny, Alan, and not Peter Baelish, where are you guys sleeping tonight?
Well, I mean, I have, I assume, a residence in this town.
Yeah, I mean, you're here on business, but we can say that you've rented a room at the Beach Leviathan.
Would you care to sleep under the ocean tonight?
That sounds absolutely magical. I feel like with day one kind of out of the way, I'm not where I want to be in this plan, so I'm going to stay out. I'm going to stake out the Hall of Justice.
I did receive this paper.
What's it say?
It looks to be a sort of like vaguely coded agreement that seems to be for a very large sum of money towards the bridge building repairs. It's unsigned, so it doesn't look like it's worth anything, but it seems like a lot of money to fix something that hasn't been fixed.
Is that the note that the half-elf gave him? Do you recognize the half-elf? I didn't know who it was.
Roll me insight. 20.
Nice.
You recognize the half-elf as one of the people you've seen kind of touring around town. Seems to be one of the delegation from Waterdeep.
Makes sense. I'd get into bridge building.
Yeah. No, I've heard some stuff about investors, so this must be one of the investors. Thought they were only dealing with King Neverember or Lord Neverember.
Titles are titles, but notes are words.
So, Alan,
Using my cloak of the bat, how long can I remain a bat?
you can only stay in polymorph for 1 hour. So if you wanted to sleep as a bat, you could get like an hour, and then you'd probably fall from wherever you were hanging upside down.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get hurt.
Sound way to live.
Do you know what? I'm just going to take the room, I think, in the Driftwood Tavern.
So that will be 30 gold for the night.
I'm not going to take a room in the Driftwood Tavern because I don't have any gold left.
As you look at your meager purse that has been unfortunately robbed, possibly by a one-eyed stinky man, you kind of look around and you feel a little bit lost, as you did the first time you came to Neverwinter, and something springs into your memory.
I can stay at the temple!
And so you take your pack and you make your way back to the Temple of Ogma, the very first place you slept on the very first night.
Yes!
All right.
You come into the temple and, you find your favorite pew, which is right there where you left it. But you're surprised to find sort of a large man in what would have once been very fine robes, but are now very filthy and stained, sleeping there.
Oh, he doesn't look familiar to me at all?
You want to roll me a perception
All
check
right,
there, Alan?
yeah. 16 total.
16. You seem to recognize what he's wearing, though.
All right.
You feel like you've seen it somewhere once, but it was a lot nicer.
Ooh, Carmine?
I don't know. Why don't you find out?
Okay. I mean, I got to find out who he is. So I just kind of...
The man suddenly sits bolt upright with a knife in his hand.
Oh, shit. No, sorry, dude.
But you do recognize him as Carmine Falstaff, but he seems to have fallen on hard times. They used to say that it was a bad idea to owe Carmine Falstaff a favor, but now it seems as though he's the one who's going to need favors. His face looks like it's been horribly beaten. He's missing a few teeth. One of his eyes is gone. And sort of on his forehead and over where his eye was is the crude facsimile Moonhammer brand you saw.
Carmine, hey, buddy, it's Alan.
Alan?
Yeah, do you remember me? I was in here
Alan.
a few weeks ago.
And he bursts into tears and falls on his knees and clutches your leg.
And I just kind of pat him on the head. It's like, hey,
He's pretty
buddy,
happy about that. Yeah.
What's going on? What's wrong?
They took everything from me.
Who did?
Fiddlesworth.
Whoa. Okay, start from the beginning.
Holy shit.
Flashback to a month ago. Fiddlesworth has just finished writing himself a very nice letter to send back to his dear friend Butthole while several of his initiates are beating a man to death behind him. His blood splattering the letter,
What
which
did you do, Ryan?
Fiddlesworth is generally upset about and says, no manners at all these days, no manners. Boys, play nicely back there. And he folds the letter up and he puts it in an envelope. He kisses it daintily and puts it in his pocket. And then he picks up his hammer and goes back to work. Falstaff is sitting in a corner. He's holding a knife out in front of him, but several people are coming in around him. Fiddlesworth kind of takes his weapon over, places it in the fire, then turns around and looks Falstaff in the eyes and just says, "Come, Mr. Falstaff, it'll be easier for all of us if you just submit to the goddess." And then he presses the brand into Falstaff's eye as he screams. Then Falstaff bursts into tears again, unable to recount any further. So they took everything from me. My syndicate, my bar, my mansion, all of it. Calls himself Stankfleur now.
So, I don't want to know the answer, but when did all this start?
Not long after you all left. He began farting and praying to something, and then soon people started coming around the bar, all of them chanting things, horrible things. They began offering free drinks, and when my bartender tried to stop them, they slit his throat.
Okay. Have to feel a little bit responsible at this point that I didn't stop this when I could have. Do you know where Fiddlesworth is now? Do you know where his...
I've been hiding here for some time, but my guess is that he took the Falstaff Manor. He always liked finery, Whenever I had him buttle at my house, he always looked upon it with envious eyes.
Okay, do you know what false, like, as a friend of mine, you can stay here as long as you want. Just know that, okay?
Do you own this temple now?
No, but these are my friends. This is the temple of a god, of my god. So if anyone gives you a hard time, they can answer to me, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right.
And he grasps your arm and he says, I once took pity on you, and perhaps I took advantage by demanding a favor in return. Thank you, Alan, for being a better person than me. Not just a better person, a better human.
And I just have like a single tear.
That's all you can get to because of the branded eye thing.
Sorry to disturb you, buddy, but thanks for the information.
Anything I can do. Anything I can do to help bring
and
him down.
Yeah. All right. So you just go back to sleep and dream sweet dreams of not the last few weeks.
He lies down, and as he falls asleep, you can see him start to like toss and turn. He's like, the goddess, she comes.
Shit. And I fall into an uneasy sleep in the opposite pew.
So that's the end of day 1. Day 2. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I hope you. So sun comes up. It's a rainier day in town today. Quinny, overnight, you noticed that the man you'd been following left. And in the morning, another fellow seems to be walking by. Seems much younger. He doesn't look like he's originally from Neverwinter. He's sort of like a Nordic-looking guy, big beard, long
Like a
hair.
Viking kind of look?
Yeah, kind of like a Viking, but certainly dressed for town. But
Okay.
looks like a foreigner. You get the sense that the residences in the Hall of Justice are more so sort of like like when lawyers sleep in their offices, like it's temporary arrangements, but people likely live elsewhere.
I didn't follow any of them.
You
as
could
they
choose
left.
to if you'd like.
I think I would have.
would have?
Especially this one guy that I've got a really good feeling
All
about.
right, so can you roll me a stealth check?
Yeah. 18.
It's late at night when the man leaves. You can see he looks very distracted. He seems to be kind of going over documents by what little light there is from the moon. Mm-hmm. He does check over his shoulder at one point, and even though you dodge behind something, you feel like maybe he caught a glimpse of you, but it's dark enough that you're hoping that he didn't. He seems to make his way quickly into the Black Lake district.
Okay.
And you finally come around a corner and see him greeted by 2 guards at a gate. They open a gate up to sort of an odd-looking structure. It's what looks like a sort of an old 2-story house, but next to it is a rectangular tower, and there seems to be a bridge from the 2nd floor to the tower. The house itself looks fairly old, standard sort of front door, 4 windows kind of thing. The tower's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's got 4 windows up on the top, but there don't seem to be any entrances.
Okay. Are the lights on? Like he's in there and the lights on?
Yeah.
I wait for the lights. Like I wait as long as it takes for the lights to go out to kind of be sure that he's staying there.
Yeah, it doesn't take too long.
Yeah, okay,
It
lights go
looks
out.
like he he finished his business at
the Hall of Justice?
At the Hall of Justice,
Okay.
or picked up whatever he needed to pick up,
Okay.
and then came to his residence.
That's probably satisfactory for me. Then I'll head back to the Hall of Justice to keep staking it out because that's
Sure.
where I said I was all night.
Great.
So,
So as you do, you see the other guy leaving,
Yeah.
and he looks like he's headed for a breakfast place.
okay.
In the morning, Butthole, one of the guards, kind of like knocks on your bars and says, "Hey, your comfort dog's here." And
Aw.
Goblin Jr. kind of like trots up with a letter in his mouth and he goes, and slides it through the bars to you.
And I look to the guard as he walks down the hallway, and I'm like, "Thanks, Steve."
He's like, "Oh, you're welcome, Butthole."
And then I take the letter and I read it. What does it say?
It's still in impeccable handwriting, but the paper's pretty rough. It's not sealed or anything. It's almost crumpled.
I mean, it's been in a wolf's mouth, so I get it.
But like more so than usual, and it just says, "We'll come for you soon, Stankfleur." Then in brackets he says, "Fiddlesworth."
And I'm like so happy that I like Peck Albin Jr. And I'm like, "You did so good, buddy. You did so good."
And he's like, "Snarf, snarf."
And then I'm just like happy because I'm like, maybe this caller might be fucking with my ability to like hear Moonhammer and stuff. And then I look across the hall and I'm like, Squidgy, dude, I'm feeling pretty good today. I feel like things are going to go well for both of us.
"Oh, thanks, Butthole. That's great." And then from the other cell you hear, "And what about me?
Hey, what's your name, bud?
Fuck you."
Oh, it's nice to meet you. Fuck you. My name's Butthole.
"Oh, that's not my name. I hate when people do that." And you see that the figure's like, he's very tall. He's like 8 feet tall.
Oh, nice.
But he's really awkwardly slumped against the side of the jail, against his bars. Can you roll me a perception check?
8 total.
That means nothing to you, but you do notice that there's a weird kind of like 2x4 sticking out from under his robe, flat against the ground. Looks like he may have smuggled a weapon in or something.
Hey, man, so your name's not fuck you. I
Okay, I don't know. My name's Butthole, so like I'm not judging on names. Like your name could be literally anything, and that'd work for me.
Well, my name is Yevgenovich.
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 It's a solid name, man. I like that.
Thank you.
Rolls off the tongue. So
Into the heart.
I'm in here for apparently starting a gang that's destroying the city.
Cool.
Squidgy's in here because he's an architect. Didn't really explain his crime, but he's an architect.
Isn't that crime enough? Fuck the machine.
Man, I like this guy. So what did they say you did?
Well, wait, you said you're with a gang?
Apparently. They say I am.
Wait,
you
which
know?
gang you with? I've seen that symbol before. Not one of those Moonites, are you?
No. I started a different gang, I think. I don't know. I didn't actually start the gang.
Wait, then you with the Dead Rats? You one of them Dead Rats?
I'm going to be honest. I am lacking affiliation. So if you have a group you'd like me to join, I'm good at healing. I'm good at murdering things with hammers. And I like making friends.
Okay. Well, if you're unaffiliated, can I tell you... Can I tell you about our Lord Raxivort?
Hey, I would love to hear about it.
Oh, Raxivort's the best. You see him start to slip down the bars and he like pulls himself back up. You notice his arms are really small considering how tall he is.
So I like think in my head and I'm like, it's just two halflings in a trench coat.
Listen, Raxivort is the best. He's the god that me and my people worship. He is just... everything we do for Raxivort. He made us in his image, and he pulls back his hood, and it's a creature unlike any you've ever seen. He's basically, his face is like a weird squat blue. He's got pointy little ears, bright orange eyes, and he's got like the classic toilet bowl hair thing that Pim Pim had.
Yeah, he looks like Dr. Phil.
If Dr. Phil was in the Blue Man Group, yes.
So he's Tobias from Arrested Development.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So he's like, Raxivort made us in his image.
Well, that's cool. So Raxivort's
cool.
a handsome dude.
Oh, he's so handsome. He made us look just like him just in case anyone came after him. Then they'll be like, whoa, which one's him?
So you're all his mortal shields?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say shields. I mean, sure, a bunch of us have died, but I mean, like, we only exist to please Raxivort.
Oh, okay.
You should join us, man.
I don't know, because I feel like
Squidgy's doing the like, don't like this.
I feel like Raxivort didn't make me in his image, though. So, like, as an outsider, what's in it for me?
The love of Raxivort, obviously. That's what we Zvarts are all about. The love of Raxivort.
So, is it a part of the worship of Raxivort that you got to keep a 2x4 in your pants?
He kind of looks down ashamed and like starts reaching, but his arm is too short, and then eventually loses his grip. And as he falls, you see the other 2x4 flip out of his thing, and he stands up in the billowing robe, and you realize he stands about 3 feet tall.
Hey, my friend's that tall.
Is your friend one of us, a Zvart?
Listen, I'm pretty sure he's an atheist, but between the two of us, we can convert him to something. Let me tell
I like
you.
the sounds of that. Well, listen, though, I mean, you wanted to know why I'm in too, right?
Yeah.
It's those fucking Dead Rats, man. They got a bunch of us to sign up to help them out because, you know, as you know, us Zvarts love rats.
I absolutely.
Roll me a bluff check or deception check.
Bluff check, you told me. And that is 17 total.
This guy fucking gets it. And he takes one of the 2x4s and he starts poking Squidgy and he's like, this guy fucking gets it. Listen. And Squidgy's like, please stop that. And he's like, oh yeah, so, you know, we like rats, so we started working for them, but lately, they've been out of control.
Well, listen, I wanted to see where you were going to fall on this whole dead rats issue, but I'll tell you, my friend and I certainly made two of them a lot more dead.
Wait, were they farts?
No. It was two dudes.
Oh, yeah,
it was humans.
fuck those guys.
Yeah, those pale bastards.
Yeah. I like you. You're okay with doing racism about you because, you know, because you're pale.
Yeah, my people are the villain of every story.
Yeah, that's around the time we started getting like alt-right hate mail on Dum Dums and Dragons.
Feel free to send it, assholes.
Anyway, so Yevgenovich explains that his people have a natural affinity for rats, and as a result, they've fallen in with the dead rats since they're led by a were-rat. However, originally they're all about plundering, which, you know, was kind of okay, and like Raxivort's kind of into that, so that's okay. But recently they've been embroiled in this war with the Moonites, and that's really been taking a toll on the Zvarts. And as the speaker of the Zvarts, he was fully against it. Unfortunately, once he spoke up, the dead rats had him framed and taken away.
Oh, shitty. So the Moonites. Tell me more about these guys.
Oh, they worship some demon god called Moonhammer.
Well, let's not slander Moon. I feel like we were making friends. I don't. A demon? That seems hefty.
I once saw their leader set a man on fire with his mind.
Okay, that might be more about the leader than. Well, I mean, did they say Moonhammer's a god?
They kept screaming, "Worship the goddess," and then a man burst into flames. And then a very immaculately dressed guy with a Moonhammer brand on his forehead farted very daintily and ran away.
Well, listen, this is an awkward time because I really like you, my friend. But maybe that person was supposed to catch on fire.
Wait, like, do you think Raxivort wanted them to catch on fire?
Honestly, Raxivort didn't prevent it.
Touche. Squidgy's just like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I hate you so fucking much.
Squidgy, you're going to be fine, man. Don't worry. You're leaving in like a day. I'm going to die in 48 hours. And frankly, you were asleep, so it's not like we were having long chats. So I'd say let's learn more about Raxivort. We don't have to convert. I mean, I'm not going to convert, but I can respect other people's religions.
You see, this guy gets it. I like this guy. He starts poking Squidgy, and he's like, I like this guy. Hey, listen, man. You said you and your pals killed some dead rats, huh?
Yeah. They squish real good.
You want to kill some more?
I don't want to commit to this as a plan, but I'm not against it.
So he kind of like looks to the guards who clearly are not paying any attention because, Steve's busy reading erotica about a Yeti.
Yeah, Steve's the best.
And the other guy, whose name is also Steve, but like he spells it with like a PH. He's reading Little Pim Pim's treatise on the art of war, and he's on that bee chapter, and he's like, interesting. He's like looking at his sword, trying to figure out if he could stuff bees in the hilt.
The answer is yes.
He looks to his other hand that's covered in stings. You're not sure if the answer is yes for Steve with a PH.
Sword-wise, yes. Steve-wise, no.
Yevgenovich says, give me a second. And he disappears into his robe, and then you hear like a ripping noise. And then he kind of looks left, looks right, and slides a piece of cloth across the hall to you.
All right, I'm going to take the cloth.
So it looks like a very crudely drawn map of Neverwinter, including a sewer entrance that's been marked rather prolifically. So that's where you'll find him.
So that's where the dead rats are?
Heard him for old Yevgenovich, but make sure my people are safe. We got to serve Raxivort, so.
Cool. I will, I'll pass this along, and I tap my nose like a conspiratorial Santa, and I'm like, I'll give this to some friends of mine.
Great. He taps his nose, and as he does so, like his hood falls over his face hilariously, because really without those stilts, he's in trouble. And then he starts trying to get back on the stilts, and looks like he's done.
And I'm just like, hey, man, do you know what? I'd say lose the robe, lose the stilts, own it. Raxivort owns it. You can own it.
You know what? You're right. I used to be a never nude, but now, and he steps out of the robe in all his tiny naked glory, and he just stands there very prolifically, and he turns and makes direct eye contact with Squidgy and just nods at him.
And I stand up and give him a full round of applause, and Goblin Jr. bows.
And both Steves are like, hey, what's going on? Oh, God, there's a naked Zvard. Someone get him like a tunic or something.
And I yell over, and I'm like, Steve, no. He's owning it.
Steve's like, you know what? I can respect that.
As he gently cradles his bee-stung hand.
Yeah, and Sarah McLachlan's in the arms of the angels plays it. Every day, Steve's attempt to get bees into their swords. For just the cost of a cup of coffee a day, you can help this Steve fill his hilt with bees. Anyway, cut to our pals at the Beach Leviathan, since I'm running 4 parallel stories.
Yep, good for you.
So good morning. You've both awakened. Out of curiosity, where'd you both sleep last night?
I was going to go down into my mast of solitude before I decided my mast didn't want any solitude. I saw some pretty cool, weird stuff at that mansion. I was like, I want to, you know.
So roll me a charisma check, please.
25.
So, Quinny, you stayed out all night. I assume you're just getting in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So, as you walk in, you're kind of like on your way down to the like secret alcove downstairs. But as you pass one door, a door kind of creaks open, and a gnome, a dwarf, 2 elves, and something that you really just don't even recognize come out of a room, followed by a very tired but very satisfied looking, not Peter Baelish.
Sorry, I had to deliver a monologue about politics and needed all this in the background while I did it.
Oh.
One of the elves is like, I now understand the entire history of Neverwinter.
Well, that sounds
Did
normal.
you know it used to be an elven town?
The more you know, friend, the more you know.
Is Elzor at the bar?
Elzor is clearly just waking up and is starting to kind of put the bar back together.
I need something with that'll give me like a jolt and keep me running for another day. I need.
So Elzor's like, yeah, okay. And quickly like mixes like a weird, it looks weird, it smells weird, but your experience at bars has been that's usually going to do it for you.
Okay.
So she asks how you're going to be paying.
You can put it on my bill again.
She goes, you know what? I put 20 gold on Bill falling down last night, did it 8 times. So here you go, on the house.
Oh, thanks.
So I need you to roll me a Constitution save, please.
Total of 15.
As it's like midway down your throat, your body's like, nope, and you almost vomit it up. But at the last possible second, you think of all the humiliation you suffered last night.
I muscle it down.
And you just muscle it down.
All right.
And it takes a second or two, you being like, not really feeling it. And then your pupils kind of dilate, and you are feeling it.
All right, guys.
You're not,
Let's go do stuff.
So I'm going to give you a -1 on perception.
Okay.
And like perception, insight, all those sorts of...
Like wisdom-based?
Wisdom-based, basically anything that being overly tired, extra caffeinated would impede. However, I will give you a +1 on anything reflex-based because you're buzzing.
All right, I'll take it.
Nice.
And
She'll take care of you.
and not Peter Baelish. I'm going to say you pull a flask of that out because you just have some and you're like,
Right? I mean, I'm not wrong.
Well, you're not Peter Baelish.
You're my best friend.
A few minutes later, Alan enters the room, having clearly slept elsewhere, but remembering that this is where not Peter Baelish was known to be found. So now that the band is back together, do you want to go fill Butthole in? What's been going on?
Do you want to go fill Butthole in?
You know what? We've been at this so long that I'm just we've
It's
had
just
to
a
say
name
so
now,
much of
yeah.
it. Like I think Tyler said, you can't wear out a butthole in episode 1.
some
I'm like,
point, yeah.
we're good. So yes, you want to go fill in the butthole?
Yes.
If he's been, reading over all those legal documents and evidence, I mean, maybe he managed to figure something out.
I like to imagine there's a version of this in Quinny's head where you just arrive and he's like prepared a really eloquent legal brief.
He's got a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah,
ready.
it's like, I may just be a down south country lawyer, but okay, great.
So I offer Alan a swig of my wake up juice flask to see if she wants to get a little kickstart before we head down to the jail.
Oh yeah, sure.
right.
Yeah, I'll take a swig of that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Alan, you're feeling a little bit rough from drinking those Fringa beers.
Yeah.
Also from your horrible emotional ordeal with the broken Carmine Falstaff.
Yeah, it wasn't the most comfortable pew either.
No.
As pews go. So you all arrive back at the Hall of Justice, and just as you arrive, to get in, you have to go through, as I said, there's sort of a 2-door system, so if anyone does break out, you can
Isolate them.
yeah. To get in, you go past a desk with a guard who basically has a crossbow that is always pointed at the door. So she waves you through, the doors open. As the second one opens, there are 2 figures in essentially what I'd probably describe as like combat garb. So like similar to what you're wearing, Quinny, like it's, leather armor made for high utility. They're wearing a logo that you don't recognize. And they're
Nike. Is it Nike?
yes, it's a Forgotten Realms swoosh. Yes, it is Nike. You have no idea what that means, but
I
Nike.
have a feeling he's just doing it. Okay.
Yes, Air Jordan is a levitating mage. So anyway, they're leading a dwarf out who is calling over his shoulder, "Goodbye, butthole. Go fuck yourself, Yaganovich." So they lead
And
him.
they just hear me say, bye.
So they lead him past you and down the stairs. So you enter the cell directly across from Butthole is now empty. The one next to it has a strange naked blue man in it. Compared to what you saw at the club last night, it's still the 3rd strangest thing you've seen in the past 24 hours.
Right, yeah.
So that's okay. But
I look at the group and I just yell, that's Yevgenovich. Say hi. He's cool.
he's like, "What's up? I'm Yevgenovich." He's just a Rick and Morty character. I'm Tiny Yevgenovich. But not Peter Baelish. You can't help but notice as you come in that like he would also probably fit the fuck harness, for lack of a better term. You're like, And Butthole greets you however he shall.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Not much, unfortunately. I mean, not Peter Baelish and I are kind of chasing down a lead here with an individual that we've got, I think, a lot of potential to kind
Yes.
of
We have a document that is unsigned, so unprovable in court that it belongs to this person in particular, but it has to do with some dirty money going into the construction of the bridge that's being made.
Yeah.
I'm doing air quotes. You can't see that. This is an audio podcast.
I think we've tracked down one of the 3 judges. I'm pretty confident that we have.
Well, that's good, because, I mean, if it's because he's corrupt, I like this. If it's because you think you can intimidate an honest judge, I'm less crazy about this plan. But I'm going to be honest, guys. Worked on my own secret backup plan.
Want to share that with us?
Sent a letter because I figured it had to be Fiddlesworth running this way back when. So Goblin Jr. brought him a letter, and he said he's going to get me out. And he sent me this letter that just says, like, hey, man, I'm going to get you out. So, if this doesn't work out, we can get out of here. He's got me from the Moon Knights. It's great.
What about Fiddlesworth?
So Fiddlesworth is running the Moon Knights. Because who loves Moonhammer and Neverwinter? Fiddlesworth. Who would definitely not have wanted me to end up in here. I didn't send him a letter saying we were coming. I'm stupid. We would have had, like, gifts. There probably would have been a party. So he's going to come and get me out. If this doesn't work out legally, then we're great, because I love Fiddlesworth and he loves us. I've heard some disconcerting rumors from Yevgenovich, but I'm choosing to give Fiddlesworth the benefit of the doubt.
So, about Fiddlesworth.
Yeah.
Now, we're all on your side,
I know he sent me a letter saying he's going to get me out and you're my lawyer. Like, it's the best thing ever.
and I don't want to cast aspersions and make any assumptions on what you've been writing in your letters.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't. Hey, I got this this friend of mine. Did you see him on the way out? Squidgy.
I think Alan has more to say.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting worried.
I feel like maybe Fiddlesworth went a little rogue in his interpretation of Moonhammer's teaching.
Oh, so he took some stuff like Quinny does, because Quinny's a rogue.
No. He's been murdering and beating up people.
Well, listen, from one perspective, all we've done is murder and beat up people.
He beat up Carmine.
Okay, that might not be nice, but do you know what? Who doesn't want to beat up their boss? They
Killed 2 people at the Driftwood Tavern alone because they didn't drink all of their drinks. In the name of Moonhammer.
Okay, that is a crime. And I will admit that that is a crime. But I feel like, where are you getting your information?
Multiple sources.
But like who?
Sources.
Because maybe they're all biased. If you went and talked to Grohl's goblins, they'd be like, they came in here and we had a great king, and then they forced us to bake a cake, and when we went back, they'd murdered 8 of our friends in our beds. Like, we're not always the heroes either.
Wait, you did what?
Okay, so long story short,
Peter.
Warlord Lil Pim Pim wanted to take his castle back because he'd been overthrown by a goblin. We went to help that guy, him kill that goblin, and then we sort of murdered a lot of the goblins in the castle before getting the rest to team up with us, and they found the bodies afterwards, so it was kind of a dark discovery.
Yeah, but you know what? We're not on trial for that.
That's true. I'm on trial for what he did, which doesn't seem fair, but he's getting me out.
I feel like there's a lot of semantics being argued right here. Alan, based on what you've heard, does Fiddlesworth need to be put down?
What do you mean by put down?
You know what I mean by put down.
Whoa. Moonhammer does not like just murdering people.
It sounds like Moonhammer kind of likes just murdering people.
But Moonhammer likes purposeful murders, and I'm saying I know Fiddlesworth more than I know these other people. But more importantly, we're in like a criminal case, right? If we want to try to do justice right, we got to bring Fiddlesworth in, and he can defend his actions and explain, and then we'll all be acquitted. If you just kill Fiddlesworth, then I go down for whatever slander is being spread about Fiddlesworth.
I just kind of pull Quinny and not Peter Baelish aside, just kind of out of earshot.
Butthole still in a jail cell.
I can't move.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
All right, guys. It actually might be a good idea to get Fiddlesworth here.
Really? So what, do we just get to take the next 2 days off because apparently Fiddlesworth and the cavalry's coming?
If we can put the blame on Fiddlesworth and say that he acted alone and wasn't actually following directions from Butthole, we might be able to do a little switcheroo.
Based on what you've told us, I don't think we're going to like Fiddlesworth's methods.
I also yell over from my corner, guys, I can hear you. It's a giant empty room.
I can hear you too. Why isn't anybody talking to Yevgenovich?
Yevgenovich, big fan, buddy. Let me work on this, because if I can get out, we can go kill those dead rats. Am I right?
Like that. Oh, yeah, Rax of War be praised. All right, peace.
Yep, cool. So I'm like, also, if you can't find Fiddlesworth, if there's one thing I've learned from all of these documents, if you could bring witnesses of Fiddlesworth, then we're going to have no problem. I mean, my only concern would be, knowing you're my lawyer, not worried about this. But if you had found witnesses of Fiddlesworth, worst case scenario, he is the nightmare you think he is. As long as they're somewhere safe and you didn't leave them in a public area, you'll be able to find them again, no problem, and they can testify.
I hate that we're coming up with a new plan on day 2 of our 3-day deadline.
Alan's holding her face.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, conversations like this are where the audio medium really fails, because watching Laura's face as Ryan did his whole lead up to how much he loves Fiddlesworth was just like, it was amazing. It was like telling the kids you're getting a divorce. Like, it was just like, I'm going to have to, okay, here we go. Basically, what I'd recommend is this. Currently, you have several leads. You have 2 days in which to investigate them before the trial.
Yeah.
So right now, where things stand, you currently have one person that you suspect is a judge who you suspect has some dirty dealings. You've been able to ascertain where his temporary residence is and where his actual residence is.
Right.
You have, from Butthole and Yevgenovich, you have the location of the Dead Rats hideout. Currently, the Dead Rats don't seem to have anything to do with your court case.
But that could change.
That could change. You still don't know very much about the other 2 judges.
We know that See and Speak have bad blood between them.
Yeah. So there's some bad blood. You know that Fiddlesworth, aka Stankfleur, is somewhere in the city, but you're not absolutely certain where.
Well, we know Goblin Jr. knows. I mean, we don't. Only Butthole knows. Sorry.
Right.
We've just been here the whole time.
No, because I told you guys that Goblin Jr. brought the letter. You
That's
know.
true.
Okay,
Yep.
fair
All
enough.
right.
Okay.
So what I recommend is this. Currently, of the leads that you have running, you have corruption, Dead Rats, Fiddlesworth, and bad blood.
Now, I would say, for me, not Peter Baelish, it would make sense to investigate perhaps the Dead Rats. I've ascertained what I could from the higher-ups, the upper echelon, and we got one potential judge. Even still, it's a shaky lead, but you, Quiddy, know where he is.
Yep.
But I have connections to the underworld. So it might make sense for me to press gang them into potential information.
Whatever we do, let's do it together this time.
Yeah, I agree.
So of these leads, I'll let you investigate 2 today.
I submit that knowing this potential judge's residence is a pretty solid lead.
Agreed.
So I would say that should be one of our 2 things we do.
I agree.
Well, you're the lawyer, Alan McBeal.
Guys,
So-
we don't have to pretend here.
It's your call.
We don't have to pretend here. I'm no lawyer until we step into that courtroom.
Well, that's a very real possibility. Like, you might be going into a courtroom trying to defend this guy,
And
as I
you'll have
pointed
to call
butthole.
yourself Alan Beale.
Oh, hello. That's
Goblin
Yevgenovich.
Jr.'s like, snarf, snarf.
Yevgenovich is like, wait, you're a lawyer? Do you represent Zvarts?
What's a Zvart?
And he waves himself in all his tiny naked glory, and he's like, me.
Let's talk about it after this trial.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Goes and pouts in the corner.
I briefly think, like, I've got more monologues I could deliver to myself about politics while other people are doing things behind me. I'll keep this guy in mind.
Well, I would say, Fiddlesworth might actually help in our argument that Moodhammer's made up.
Okay. Fiddlesworth
Because,
and
where
the
is he
judge?
getting his information? Yeah.
But I do ask, is
y-
it that simply you wish to just free your friend, but do you wish to take down the system here?
I could care less about the system.
All right, well, I
trying.
live
I
here
don't
and you
care
don't.
either.
That's fine. All right. That's cool. I just kind of like walk in the corner. I'm just like, that's fine.
cool.
I just kind of like pull a lean against a wall. I'm like, it's fine.
You just like quietly trace the anarchist A on the wall. Disappointment.
That's fine.
So from the sounds of things, the number one thing you want to investigate is the judge's residence.
Yes.
I think it's the
So-
most solid one we've
Yeah.
got.
So let's start there and then see where the day goes.
Okay. I was just going to ask, I don't think we know that he's there right now. Like, he could very well be here in the Hall of Justice, right?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. You need to gather some information for that.
Okay.
I'm going to send Goblin Jr. with them just in case they need him later for like Fiddlesworth stuff. Because maybe in my mind, I'm like, Goblin Jr., just come here. I just want to tell you what the plan is. I want you to go with them. I'm just whispering because it's fun. They can know. But I want you to go with them and just help. And then if they get in any trouble, you can go to Fiddlesworth and get him to send help for our friends. Because I think this has been just slanderous. Because Fiddlesworth sends such dainty letters. He's a dainty man. Okay, go, buddy. You're the best.
Snarf, snarf.
I fucking love you so much.
Snarf, 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 snarf. Snarf, 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 snarf. Translation, no,
Sound like
you hang
Seth
up.
Meyers' impression of Donald Trump.
The three of you and Goblin Jr. make your way to the judge's residence that you spied on earlier.
Yeah.
In light of day, you notice it's a bit more conspicuous. There's a big fence all the way around. It's one of those like rich people fences that has like spiky bits on top.
Right.
So it looks like climbing over it, not going to be too pleasant.
Right. It's to impale the poor.
Yes, there's a large gate in front of it with sort of like two guards who look attentive. They're not on high alert, but they're definitely more aware than not.
If I were to do a quick run around the perimeter, would they be the only two guards on patrol?
As you're observing from across the street, like through two holes in a newspaper or
Yep.
whatever you're doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You notice there's also a guardsman on patrol.
Okay.
She looks to be armed with a crossbow.
Once I kind of circle back to the group here, look, I'm willing to really commit to getting in here today, including sort of doing some things that we can't really like turn back from. If that means like knocking out guards and like really kind of forcing our way in. Are you guys up for that today, or do you want to stake this out a little longer, or see if we can gather more information before really
Let's-
making a move?
Let's get some answers. Let's get things done.
Yeah, let's
yeah.
go for it. All right. I think to start, I don't know if I can take you with me. I want to use my boots of springing and striding to just gap that fence and just jump right over.
I'm also just gonna put this hot thing out there right now.
Yeah.
I've got this cool thing I can do called disguise self.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, that sounds real good.
So can I?
So bards have a number of useful utility spells, particularly bards that have been built specifically for this adventure. So, Catherine, over to you.
What I suggest doing is that I disguise myself as a fellow member of the law.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps someone who would work with, say, a justice, a judge, coming on over for perhaps a spot of law talk.
Yeah, go on.
Possibly a large paladin who enforces the law here in Neverwinter.
Oh, I mean, I just had this thought that came to me. What if, now go with me on this,
I'm
what if I
listening.
became a large paladin that kind of enforces the law here in this town of Neverwinter?
How oddly specific.
Yes, well, sometimes my thoughts come in bursts of specificity. Now, I disguise myself as that. Now, that spell can't go with everyone else. It's just me disguising myself.
And I can also alter myself.
Okay, so we've got two disguises. Let's go with disguising, I guess, and see if we can move in there as a group
Yes. Yes.
without setting off any kind of suspicion.
Yep.
All right, what's the plan?
I disguise myself
Yep.
as the paladin.
Von Strauss.
That's von Strauss. And you are my associates, and we're here to do the business of justice.
Alan, what do you look like?
And I'm going to change myself into a human man.
Still like a wizard, or
You do remember that there was a wizard with Von Strauss when he entered earlier, so you could try and look like that guy if you want.
puke guy?
Yeah, the guy who threw up in his boot.
Yeah, so I'm going to alter myself to look like the paladin's wizard friend.
My associate
without
puke.
the puke.
Okay.
Goblin Jr. is just going to stand at the edge of like the property, just watching. And he's like, in his head, he's like, if something goes wrong, fucking Fiddlesworth and I are going to save this fucking day. Snarf, snarf. And then he just says, snarf, snarf. And he like fades into the background through a hedge, sort of like Homer
like Homer
Simpson
Simpson.
style.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
So he's just in the middle of a hedge, just invisibly watching.
Got it.
And Quinny, what are you doing?
I'm going to walk up there with them and act like I belong. Act like an associate.
So, who's doing the talking?
Shouldn't be me.
Because
Probably not me
I
either,
will
to
do
be honest.
the talking.
Right. So
Speak
the
using my dulcet tones.
approach and the guards say, Paladin Von Strauss, we weren't expecting you today.
Yes, well, hail and well met, fellow. I say.
Thank you, you as well.
Huh? Well, hey. As you know, a trial is coming up very soon, and I was sent by the fine proprietor of this establishment to fetch some documents that are needed.
The two guards exchange a look, and they're like, proprietor of this establishment? What? Like, also, we're supposed to be keeping this identity a secret? What's going on? But then they look at the illusionary giant flaming sword that they know Von Strauss carries, and they look to the wizard, and they're like, and he's got his wizard with him, and I don't know, some kid. Okay, if you're here for documents, I mean, I'm sorry, but Justice Pemberton isn't here. Normally, he won't let anyone into the residence without him being here, but if you'd like to wait, I'm sure he'll be back soon.
I suppose that is an error on my part. I mixed up the time.
Would you like to
It
roll
is-
a persuasion check?
18.
So what do you tell him?
Yes, I do suppose we did indeed mix up the times. But we are good friends, he and I don't think he would necessarily like to stand in the way of the justice of the law getting
He
necessary
does like
documents.
justice. And
It's kind of his thing.
the other guard kind of rolls his eyes and is like, yeah, he sure does.
Like he's really not into much else. I mean, you know that.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks around and he's like, all right, listen, I don't want him to yell at us again. He's kind of a prick.
Isn't he?
Listen, as you know, he anytime a document needs picking up, he always leaves it in the front hallway. So we can give you access to the front hallway, but anywhere further than that, when our heads would be on the chopping block.
I understand. And I appreciate you being in service of both the law of the people and the law of loyalty.
He turns to the other guy. He's like, dude, Von Strauss just said I'm cool. It's like, shut up, Paul. No one cares.
We'll, of course, be picking in and out, picking up this document. But do you know where Justice Pemberton happens to be right now? As he said, I was the one who messed up the meeting time. And while I must get this document to him, I would like to do it in person.
Well, I believe he's back at the Hall of Justice. As you know,
Because he loves justice.
he does love justice, but
so much.
also, as you know, the representatives from Nikkei are here to pick up the architect today. So
Of course they are. The representatives of Nikkei, yes, thank you. I will tell him about you, just so you know. You have been absolutely exemplary.
oh, well, I thank you. And as you start to walk away, you don't notice, but he like pulls out like his hero hand-drawn picture of Von Strauss, and he's like, I did it. I did it. Then he puts it back in his pocket. And the other guy's like, Paul, stop bringing that to work. You manage to successfully bluff your way past the gate. You come up to the house. Do you knock? Do you enter? What do you do?
Well, it wouldn't make sense to knock because he's
yeah.
not there.
I think if it's this well guarded, maybe the doors will just open if we walk in.
Let's try it out.
You open the door, and almost the minute you turn the handle, the door swings open, and there's an impeccably dressed gnomish butler. Greets you and says, your business, please.
Do we recognize him from last night?
No.
No, okay.
Not all gnomes look the same.
Hashtag not all gnomes.
So I speak gnomish. So I say, good sir, it is I, a justice of the peace, here to pick up a document for the good judge himself. I was told it would be in the front hall as it always is.
He left no documents out today. There was no scheduled pickups, so no, there are no documents here.
Oh. Do you know of any other place where he may leave them? I understand.
I'm gonna need you to leave. You shouldn't be here.
But I was told to be here.
Deception check. Or an intimidate or
Or
persuasion.
I also have detect thoughts.
Sure.
So I'm going to use that, and now I'll roll. Yep. 22.
You kind of reach out Jean Grey style with your mind, and you find his surface thoughts, at least, are very confused about the lack of detail. He like for a second he seemed to be worried that he'd fucked up, but he's like, no, there were no scheduled pickups, and the documents are never like this would never happen. This is completely wrong. So he's thinking like, got to get them out of here. Got to get them out of here. But there's something just kind of like tugging at the edge. It's like at the edge of your mind while you're doing that.
Can I follow that feeling?
So I believe your spell difficulty is 14. So I have to beat a 14
Okay.
For him to resist. And he fails. So you dive a little deeper. What you hear beneath it is, kill them. Kill them for the goddess. Kill them for the goddess now.
Okay.
This episode of Dum Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our special guest, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum Dums and Dragons.